Hello, my name is Monica McGarry from Invest Now. Thanks to both our presenters from Frost & Sullivan for an informative presentation. Obviously, mega trends are very important for businesses to be aware of, and are trying to keep up with the trends is very challenging. It is important to identify how they impact your business, but also to identify any opportunities that might evolve from them. Just to let you know that this webinar is available on Invest Now website, and we will email you with the details when it becomes available online. Now it's time for the Q&A session with the presenters, and thank you to everyone who's already submitted a question. There has been a specific question now. Please use the questions tab on your webinar control panel to send it through to us. We've got a few questions through today. Some of them pre-submitted and some have come through during the session this morning. So if you're both happy, we'll make a start. So the first question is, what are the most critical indicators or early signals businesses should monitor to effectively align with and capitalize on the megatrends?
Yeah, I'll go with that, Monica. So thank you for this question. This is really an interesting one. So one figure that is coming to my mind right now, that while doing this megatrends research, I had come across a statistics that showed that approximately 60% of small businesses fail to attend their 10 years of operation. That is, around only 40% of small businesses manage to celebrate their 10th year anniversary. Now, this particular statistic highlights the significant challenges that companies face in sustaining their operations over a decade. Now, some of the key reasons for this failure could be like businesses fail to understand, number one, what their customer needs. Number two, what is the market dynamics? Businesses could even struggle to find new areas of growth, which we call as white spaces, or companies do not have any ways to foster their culture of innovation. So these are some of the reasons that we see that a company typically fails when it comes to achieve their goals, and that is why it is very important to have a deep understanding of future, and that is why companies need to understand the early signals within their businesses to leverage the mega trends for a successful future. Some of the early signals I would say would be, number one, yes, understanding the shifts in consumer preferences, which is very essential for businesses to align their strategies with megatrends. Second, the emerging technologies. So keeping an eye on emerging technologies is again very crucial, as they often drive several important megatrends. So businesses should track innovation in areas like automation, artificial intelligence, digitization, as all of these technologies have the potential to reshape industries and create new opportunities. Third would be monitoring the demographic changes. Yes, it is very vital for identifying the new market opportunities, because populations are aging and they are shifting geographically. So all of these need to be taken into consideration, and business must adapt their offerings to meet these kind of evolving needs of diverse consumer groups. So by focusing on these very elementary indicators, I would say businesses can better position themselves and seize emerging opportunities through megatrends. Yeah, so thank you for this question.
Thank you very much for the answer. And the next question that has been sent in is, what are the anticipated changes to the social media landscape, for example, in regards to the growing channels and trends?
Thank you, Monica, for the question. I'll answer that. Well, we all are aware of the impact of social media on newer generations, and that's why businesses are capitalizing on online communities to drive sales, as consumers' usage of social media is at an all-time high. So we expect companies to significantly invest towards technologies such as AR, VR for immersive shopping experience, data analytics for sentiment analysis, and AI ML to understand the consumer behavior. Major social media platforms are incorporating shopping features to create a seamless buying experience. Let's say, for example, ByteDance, that is a TikTok shop, added the in-app shopping feature for various brands. And not only this, there are other apps as well, Instagram and Pinterest, that are doing the same. Now, speaking of customer experiences, businesses are collaborating with technology providers offering automated customer service experiences. Other than these, there are few anticipated trends witnessed, like rise of business influencers, more of wearable gadgets for consumers, and community commerce. So basically, community commerce means that social networks are shifting from broad networks to smaller and more focused communities of users that are having similar interest towards specific products or services. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much for the answer. I think due to time constraints, I think this might be our final question. Is with regard to mega trends of advanced computing and communication that you spoke about. The question is, how are governmental laws and regulations on AI and brain-computer interfaces going to be? Will they become obstacles against application of those technologies to society and businesses?
Okay, I'll take that question. Thank you so much, Monica. So governmental laws and regulations on AI and BCI will definitely be evolving in the future to address mainly the ethical and legal implications of these technologies. And as we talked about this in the potential threat slides, it will be mostly initiated by the developed countries. Now, several regulations have been introduced by regions like the European Union, US, China, and other countries from Asia and Africa are still in the process of introducing these regulations. Now, between 2025 till 2030, we expect to see a lot of countries either initiating or accelerating the process of introducing AI regulations that will play a significant role in shaping these technologies of AGI and BCI. Now, speaking of these regulations becoming obstacles, the main motive of these regulations will be to ensure that these technologies can be used ethically with data transparency and privacy. But most importantly, government frameworks globally will work towards balancing the need for regulation with the need for innovation and responsible use of these technologies. Now, global bodies like UN, OECD, G20, and regional alliances have started creating working groups and advisory boards to develop principles and standards around AI. Groups like OECD may prove useful, creating regulatory consistency across different regions. So these governmental bodies, these global bodies, will work towards balancing the regulations and innovations of technologies. It is important to mention that collaboration between technology developers, regulators, and stakeholders is essential for addressing the complex regulatory and ethical issues surrounding these technologies of BCI and AI. This also includes engaging with institutional review boards, ethical review boards, and multi-stakeholder groups to ensure that BCI technologies are developed and used responsibly in the future.
Thank you. That's a brilliant answer. Thank you to both of you for answering those questions. I think we have to conclude the session now. I hope that it's been very beneficial to our audience and businesses that are with us today. I'd very much like to thank both our speakers for presenting today and for being put on the spot there for those questions. We tried to get through as many questions as we could. If we weren't able to answer your question today, we'll provide an answer by email to you shortly. To receive business updates, if you haven't already, please sign up to the email newsletter on nibusinessinfo.co.uk. Also, do please keep an eye on InvestNI website, where you can register for forthcoming events and webinars. I look forward to seeing you all at our next Megatrend webinar next Tuesday, the 1st of October at 10 a.m, where megatrends such as emerging demographic patterns, advanced materials, and cyber-critical systems, to name a few, will be discussed. So that's for today's session. I'd like to thank you all for attending today, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.